Okay, so as you guys know, Stranger Things has ended. I am a watcher of Stranger Things. Pretty disappointed, like everyone is saying. Pretty disappointed. Felt like there just could have been more. Like I'm just everything you've been seeing is what I've been agreeing with. Like feel like there could have been more. Vecna and the Mind Flayer fight. We took 5 seasons to build up to it, and they died by water balloons and Nancy with an AR. Oh my gosh! And there's a clip. Hold on, let me see if I can show you guys this real quick. There's a clip of Nancy reloading the gun and improperly. Look at this. Look how she grabs the gun. Son!
After the Stranger Things finale aired, a lot of people were drawing comparisons to Game of Thrones Season 8, and I thought that was pretty overblown. Like, it's not the most amazing finale, it wasn't the greatest final season, but it's nothing even close to the catastrophe, the downright sinful
Duffer Brothers, I'm gonna find you
finale to Game of Thrones. See, even just saying its name evokes waste from my body to be expelled. That was gross with Game of Thrones Season 8. Stranger Things Season 5 was just But there is a comparison you can draw when it comes to how the writers are explaining some glaring issues with the finale. In Game of Thrones, there was an infamous clip from one of the goobers saying, she just forgot about the Iron Fleet. Danny just forgot about the Iron Fleet. It's up there with somehow Palpatine returned, except it's even worse than that. Just forgot about the Iron Fleet. Oh, right, makes sense.
I haven't watched
And that's been a meme for a while, and it's just been like a source for spit, where people will always quote that as like an example of dog shit writing where there's no explanation or even an iota of justification for it. Oh, we were hitting some whippets and slipped our mind would be more honest than just saying like, no, actually, the character is the one that forgot, and it makes perfect sense if you don't think about it. You want to hit this whippet? Like, it's very silly. In Game of Thrones right now, the Duffers, they're doing something kind of similar. People have had a lot of questions about a lot of really interesting choices, as well as some huge plot holes. Spoilers. Getting into spoilers. This is your warning.
Yep.
Spoiler alarm. Okay, now we're getting into it. The biggest one that a lot of people have been clowning on them for and even making memes about is the absence of the Demogorgons, the Demodogs, the Demobats when the crew enters the Abyss. Literally the home turf. This is where they spawn. They pop out of the fucking womb up here. And yet not a single thing is in the Abyss other than Vecna and the Mind Flayer. How is that possible? Why are they not there now at the most important moment? So people have been making memes that the Demogorgons, were off taking selfies in France and shit, or, whatever. Popping champagne, doesn't matter.
And so with that, I've actually been seeing a lot of theories saying that the way that the Mind Flayer was created in season 3 with like all the human flesh and rat flesh and all that stuff is the same way that the Mind Flayer was created, which he might touch on. Is that the Demogorgons, he used the Demogorgons then to create that flesh Mind Flayer body. But, like, it just wasn't, like, it wasn't as scary as, like, the Mind Flayer in Season 2. Yet Season 3, like, the build-up to the Mind Flayer, especially in Season 2, precisely, the Mind Flayer I was genuinely shaking in my boots as a little kid. Maybe he'll touch on that.
For some inexplicable reason that is not present in the show in any way, shape, or form, they are just absent. Vecna gave them all a paid vacation. He said, you know what, guys? Holiday season, please, spend time with your families. And they weren't there, thus Vecna and the Mind Flayer got fucking ganked and blasted. Well, Matt Duffer was asked about this, and his response, I think, is fucking terrible. This comes from The Rap. Fair enough. Another question I had.
Okay, so this is one of the Duffer brothers saying actually what happened.
That other people have been asking is, once they get to the Abyss, where are all the creatures? Where are the Demogorgons, the Demodogs, the bats? Are they hiding? I'm actually surprised they asked this question, because that is, like, very blunt. It's like, hey, so, like, what the fuck happened to all these creatures that we spent, like, 10 years being afraid of and seeing them, like, in droves, where if you even step on a tentacle, the hive mind is alerted and you get swarmed by Demogorgons like it's fucking football players trying to recover a fumble. Where are they in the Abyss? Their literal home turf. And Matt Duffer said, mainly it's just that Vecna was not expecting the sneak attack on his home turf. Never in a million years could he have even imagined that. Right. They're somewhere. They're at the fucking titty bar, at the Abyss titty bar. They're looking at honkers and boobies. They were busy.
Dog.
They're somewhere, though, I'm sure.
Dog.
We obviously discussed having a demo battle on top of the Mind Flayer battle, but it felt more right to us that why does he need the demos when the Mind Flayer is this giant thing and can attack them? What the fuck are you talking about, man? It has used Demogorgons for 10 years. I imagine would of course still be using them as bodyguards and henchmen instead of trying to do the dirty work itself. That's like the whole fucking point of them. It would want them. He doesn't need his little ant army to attack. He's going to take care of this himself. It's a giant, desolate planet. If you recall, you see Henry wandering the planet back in Season 4.
Okay, he could take care of himself, yet the Mind Flayer did no damage to anybody. No damage to anybody. That makes no sense. They was up there just hitting whippets and smoking blunts while shooting the Mind Flayer with an unreloaded gun. Bro, Nancy literally cocked the top of the gun back as if that's a part where you even, like, reload it. Son! That's not happening, bruh. And then Vecna didn't do anything except get a stake through his heart and get chopped by freaking Joyce Byers. He doesn't need his little ant army. Obviously he does, and they're not even little. They're like 8 foot, maybe 9 foot tall creatures. Doesn't need his little ant army to attack. Dude, like, this is just plot armor out the wazoo, dude. Like, they literally just ripped this up from the ground, ripped the floorboards, put the carpet in so we could just lay down and have a nice little ending. It's just upsetting to see all the potential they had with the last, especially, okay, I didn't even realize this, but 3 years for this season. 3 years. I'm gonna nitpick a little bit here. The CGI in the Abyss was not up to par. For 3 years, bro. 3 years, and this is the best you came up with. I mean, I feel like the most highlighted scene was probably Will coming out. That is probably the most viewed scene and most talked about scene. And that's crazy that you have all this hype leading up to this big boss fight, 2 big boss fights, Vecna in Season 4, and then the Mind Flayer, obviously, in Season 5. And the Mind Flayer was casted from season, I want to say Season 2. Yeah, Season 2 up to Season 5. And it's like, this is what we got? Not one death. You're talking about this intergalactic, gigantic monster in the Abyss, and he can't kill one person? That doesn't make sense.
At some point in his journey, he does see a demo far in the distance, but it's not like they're hanging out in little huts. There's not like a giant civilization of demos up there. There's not a cantina bar for demos. It's like they think the audience is so stupid that they weren't actually watching the show with their eyes open and brain on. What do you mean Vecna couldn't have imagined this in a million years?
Oh.
If you recall, you wrote this, by the way, Vecna went into the mind of Hop. This was after their whole plan was in motion. It was shortly before the ambush, and Vecna was poking around in his noodle there, looking at all of his neurons and using his past against him to even convince him that he shot Elle and then panicked and
that was a crazy scene.
Yanked Elle out of the tube, out of the bath, which then took her out of Henry's mind. He saw into Hop's mind. He would have seen this plan. But even if he didn't see the plan in Hop's mind, he briefly entered Elle's mind when they were in the house. So he had 2 people's brains, both of which knew of this plan, and we had seen in the past Vecna, when he goes into someone's mind, he sees fucking everything.
That's a good point.
How would he have not...
That's actually a good point. I didn't think of that. So how didn't he see the plan? And they just touched on that. He never would have in a million years seen that or thought that they'd go to the Abyss. Yet that's the plan that they're cooking up. And Vecna was literally there inside Hop's mind. That doesn't make sense.
Seen this ambush. How would that have missed him? When this is the most, important plan they've ever concocted, and it is a fresh plan. This is, their most recent memory. This would be, the first thing you'd have to, push by in order to get to Hop's past with, his daughter. How would he have missed the plan? You just think it was, useless? They're probably not doing that. It's a load of fucking barnacles. There's no way they're doing that plan. This is something he would have seen. It's not even something he needs to imagine. He would have fucking seen it in their minds. Especially Hops, for how long he spent in there. That's... how did he miss that? But even setting that fact aside, let's say for some reason those memories were blocked off. They for some reason had Magneto's helmet on for a brief moment there in order to block out Vecna's ability to see that. Why would the Demogorgon still not have even shown up at any point? I feel like they would have had ample time to arrive there extremely fast, and we've seen that when you agitate the hive mind in any way, they get swarmed. Demo bats, demo dogs, demo gorgons, they come at you hard and fast. And I imagine around the fucking Mind Flayer and Vecna, literally like the hub of the abyss, there would be some Demogorgon nearby. In that moment that Matt Duffer is referencing where Henry saw a Demogorgon leaving, well, to me that indicates that there is a plentiful amount there, and since he controls them, like they are at his disposal, surely he would have thought to have them stationed nearby, even if not for defense, in order to more effectively send them out where he wants them to go. It's just pretty silly to say, like, I probably wouldn't use bodyguards or anything, the Demogorgon wouldn't be there, Mind Flayer wants to throw up a set himself and get pugilistic. Do it himself. Get right up in there and motorboat him to death. He wouldn't use anyone else. No pesky Demogorgons, Demobats, and Demodogs like he'd been doing for 10 years now prior. Not this time. But let's not harp too much on that, because there is one extremely huge plot hole that people have pointed out that I actually didn't even catch when I first finished watching it. And it is a huge plot hole that is pretty inexplicable other than whoops-a-daisy or suck our dick. We said so. There's no like actual way of explaining it. And Collider did an interview with them and asked about this question. And their response is not very good. His response is basically, well, oh well. I saw this from a number of people talking about this online, and the staff also wanted to know. Will was
I didn't even think of that. Like, yeah, Will was connected to the hive mind, and he always felt the pain that Vecna felt, even Demogorgons. And even when the Mind Flayer, like, even the Mind Flayer is connected to the hive mind, so how is he not feeling when even, like, precisely, Vecna's got his head chopped off, but the Mind Flayer is literally getting poked and burned? Then that would connect back to when he broke Vecna's arm.
Connected to the hive mind, but didn't feel anything when Vecna was impaled and decapitated when the Mind Flayer was attacked. Why not? Matt Duffer responds, well, we aren't showing him when the Mind Flayer is being attacked. When he's getting decapitated, at that point, the Mind Flayer is dead, and so it, at that point, has severed the connection between him and Vecna. I swear to God, it's like they got hit by the Men in Black's neuralizer. What happened here? It's like they forgot their own show. What? Will is part of the hive mind. This was a crucial piece of lore, a crucial problem to be solved for this entire run of the show. All 10 years, this has been a big issue because he is connected to the hive mind. Thus, when you are hurting the hive mind, you're hurting Will. They even explicitly showed that in one of the earlier seasons where they're like burning tunnels, and Will's like, ah! Ah! Like he's feeling all that pain. And even right before like the Mind Flayer final battle, when Will is experiencing Henry's memories and Henry got shot in the hand,
Your mom!
Will felt him get shot in the hand. It still hurt Will. He still experiences that pain because he's connected to the hive mind. And while they were burning the Mind Flayer alive, you know, throwing the Molotov cocktails and stabbing its taint, you know, right in its gooch with the spears that Dustin and Steve were using, all of that Will should have been experiencing as well, because he is still connected to the hive mind.
Yeah,
and when pressed on it a bit further, and so you're saying it could be off camera, Matt Duffer says, when the Mind Flayer is getting attacked, we see how much in pain he is, obviously, even with Henry's memories, but we just wanted to focus on the final battle with our heroes. Exactly, so they are recognizing that he is still part of the hive mind, feeling all of this pain, but then he says, but we wanted to just focus on the final battle with Henry. So he's basically saying, yeah, we know, it's a problem, but fuck you. We just wanted to focus on that fight with Henry, which was a pretty underwhelming fight, by the way. It was a very anticlimactic, not an amazing showdown, unfortunately. And all of this happens in like 10 minutes. You build up a huge, big bad, two big bads for 10 years, and it's over in 10 minutes. It's very underwhelming. That was one of my big complaints. But this is a huge, glaring plot hole. Because the connection wasn't severed, Will would have also died with Vecna's death.
Yo, now I'm looking at it. What kind of gaming chair is that, bro?
Like, there's no getting around that. You can beat around the bush all you want, but even Matt Duffer's saying, we just wanted to focus on this other thing. So we didn't really give a lot of thought there on how to, you know, provide a solution to that issue. We were just hoping you forgot. And in my case, it worked because I did forget about that. It didn't even register with me that Will should have also died then. But when you stop to think about it, yeah, there is no reason why Will should still be alive after Vecna's death when he was still connected to the hive mind at that moment. And when directly asked about it, they said, well, we didn't show it happening. It's like baby brain with no object permanence. Oh, my eyes are closed. The world around me must not be existing right now. So since we didn't show you any of that, You shouldn't be thinking that it's happening, because it's not. So stop putting any kind of like actual thought into this product. It's so weird. And then they're like, yeah, we just wanted to focus on the hero's final confrontation. It's a very weak explanation. That is not very satisfactory. And then another thing that I pointed out in my review is it's extremely fucking weird that after killing so many military personnel, foiling their plans, doing an unbelievable amount of illegal activity leading to the destruction of so much military property, and, like I said, murdering a bunch of military personnel, all of the main crew, everyone just gets to go free without a single, like, bump in the road. So they were asked, what happened with the military after blowing up the Upside Down? Ross Duffer responds, in that 18-month gap,
That is the most, like, hold on, I'm gonna let him
I
finish.
suppose there's not much else to do. You can't explore this other dimension. There's no 11 to chase anymore because she's gone. So my guess is they just sort of slowly dismantled operations and left town.
That is the most, like, safe, most, like, lukewarm ending ever, dog. Plot armor, full thickness, dog. Like, we're talking Ice Spice plot armor thickness here, dog. This is insane.
Your guess, buddy, you wrote it. It's your story. What happened?
Son.
Why are you guessing? What the fuck is this? Is it like Voldemort's diary where it's writing itself? Like, what the fuck do you mean you guess? It's like they don't even know. They didn't even bother to think. It's just like, and then 18 months later, everyone's happily ever after. Oh, yeah, what happened in between? In between what? It's so weird to me, man. Like,
There was an in between?
again, as I pointed out in the review, they killed a bunch of military people. Like, these were like the most wanted criminals imaginable during this whole season. And now they finally get caught by the military, and then they just get let go. Like, there's no mention of like jail time or some kind of agreement that was reached between all of them. And it feels like Dr. K, since she's supposed to be the evil military lady, you know, cutthroat, literally torturing women and impregnating them against their will for their psychic program, yet for some reason she showed mercy to all of them, even after they were responsible for her entire life's work crumbling and tons of her peers dying. Like, she decides, okay, that's fine. Hey, we're just gonna boot, scoot, and boogie on out of here. Have fun in Hawkins. We're all just gonna pack our bags and scram. We're gonna get out of town. What the fuck? Why don't you tell us what happened? Why don't you know? Why isn't that something you stop to consider? Writing. It's so odd to me. It's also so interesting to see answers like this. So, a question that was asked, why did Vecna need 12 kids and not 5 or 20? And Ross Duffer apparently laughs, you know, giving a little giggle. Tee-hee-hee. It's no specific reason other than he realized how much power he could exert from will, and to do something of this scale of moving the planet, I don't know exactly how he did the math. Matt Duffer then says, thematically or symbolically, we like the clock symbolism. How deep? So why did Vecna need 12? They don't know. They just thought it was cool, I guess. Whereas fans have like tirelessly worked on some really interesting, elaborate, thought-provoking theories on the significance of a...
There's been some crazy theories. Like, bro, if fans wrote this, masterclass. Like, the theories I've been seeing are insane. Saying you don't know to your own show, that's like someone writing a book. You're like, well, how did this happen? I don't know. Thought it was kind of cool. You know? What? No, I don't know. Explain it. Explain it.
A lot of things, including like needing 12 vessels. And then when you hear from the people that wrote it, it's like, oof. So there was not a whole lot of thought into that at all. It actually doesn't mean anything. It's just like very deflating. If I was someone that got big into like theory crafting around Stranger Things, I'd be very disappointed hearing from them just saying things like, yeah, I don't know. The clocks are cool, I guess. They're pretty dope.
I just like the way they work. I feel like they're the rings and stuff they're made of mechanically wise. You know, I always were interested in clocks, so that's about it. Like, you know, nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons at all. It's like at this point, why was Dungeons and Dragons even part of the show? Like, besides to introduce the new I guess enemy of that time. Like, first it was the Demogorgon, then it was the Mind Flayer, and then it was Vecna. And then at the end you see them playing Dungeons and Dragons again, but there's like no correlation after the characters are introduced during the first episode of each season, and not even at the 5th season either. And then the Russians too. Why did you incorporate the Russians? Where did the Russians like? What was the point of that?
Up much better and interesting theories for a lot of things than the writers were able to do here. It's so fucking odd. And I didn't know this at the time of my review, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of Stranger Things spin-offs, which I didn't know was confirmed until today. And it is clear this is going to be milked out the wazoo.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of decisions that might have been made for this season were made with the idea of trying to stretch it out past the finale in order to like leave little things that they can explore for spin-offs and thus leading to a less fulfilling, less conclusive finale. So get ready to be seeing a lot more Stranger Things, even though this was the finale, I guess. It really is just, the whole thing is very underwhelming. As I said in the review, it's disappointing. It was the weakest season in the entire franchise,
Literally.
for sure.
To be the
and then when I hear from them about some of the decisions they made, where I thought I was being very charitable, I thought maybe there was things I missed, like maybe there was like deeper meanings behind things. Well, it turns out not really. A lot of it's just them just saying, I don't know, or I guess maybe this. Like, it's just, that sucks. It is very similar to like how
lackluster.
Game of Thrones season 8 writers were about it. Like, just kind of forgot. Anyway, just wanted to yap about it a bit. That's it. See ya.
See ya.